Hey, what's going on, everybody? With the new year right around the corner, with less than a month left before we head into 2026, I wanted to make a video about a incident that happened almost 2 years ago now. Uh, it happened in 2024 on January 1st in Florida at a particular mall, the Bayside Mall to be exact. The reason why I'm talking about the Bayside Mall incident that happened almost 2 years ago now is because there are some things that happened during that doesn't make sense even today, despite all the explanations that they have given. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it, as well as some things going on currently with the media today, with the topics. But also, this conspiracy theory kind of goes in hand with the things that are going on today and how there's a big push for aliens in recent years. But if you're not familiar with the Bayside Mall incident in 2024, people on New Year's Day, people had reported seeing these 10-foot black figures that had emerged out of thin air, and the mall went into a panic, and people had fled from the scene. And when you see aerial footage from outside of the mall, from helicopters, you see all of these police cruisers, these police cars parked outside of the mall, over like 100 police cars parked outside of the mall. But the official story that they give is that there wasn't, any beings. However, there was a fight that broke out at the mall, a teenager, a scuffle, a little, roughhousing. And because of that, they were also setting off fireworks. So because of that, the people that were shopping at the mall were scared and they ran away. But the thing is that, let's say that is true. Let's say there was a scuffle between some teenagers and that fireworks were set off. That still doesn't explain why there are so many cop cars at the mall, like over 100. Like, I'll show some footage as I'm talking about this, but it just doesn't make sense why you would need that many police cruisers for a teenage scuffle. And another thing that stands out is that we live in the modern era, and growing up and going to school, whenever a fight had broken out, there was always footage of it from multiple different angles. Granted, the cinematography wasn't always the best. It was shaky, blurry. But there is still footage that you can point to and say, okay, a fight had occurred that day, right? So it's weird that on January 1st, in the modern era, 2024, when there's a bunch of people at the mall, nobody has any footage of this supposed fight breaking out. And especially in a mall, one of the most surveilled places you could be. There's cameras everywhere in the mall, and yet there's no footage from the mall that a fight broke out. Again, pretty weird. And when we get into personal accounts of people who are at the mall, they all have a similar story where it's like they were just shopping. They either saw these two figures emerge from thin air, or they had heard people screaming and had went and looked in the direction where people were running from. They had saw the two tall figures that way. And when people, because this is, I had mentioned this earlier, where it's like, well, why isn't there any footage of this event? And when getting into personal accounts, people who have filmed the event, miraculously, the footage of these figures are just scrubbed from their phone, and people who were just filming from outside the mall, seeing all these people, run out of the mall just to be like, like, what's going on? Like, why is like all these people running out of the mall? The footage is moved to a completely different date in their video library. So like, this was filmed on January 1st, 2024. Well, guess what? The video is pushed like years back to like a different date. And again, it's also pretty weird. Like, why would that happen? If this was just like a normal event, why is my footage being messed with? If this was just a normal event of a couple of teenagers fighting and some fireworks went off and it got out of hand, why is my footage of me just filming people running outside being altered or deleted? Kind of weird. And now this gets into how this relates to like what's going on today. So at the time of recording, it is December 8th, 2025. So if you haven't been keeping up with the news, or just like the past couple of years, so let's get into that. Over these past couple of years, there have been like conferences of high US ranked officials being like, yeah, aliens are real. We have like footage and like documentation that we don't know exactly what they are, but aliens are real. And the public is just kind of like, all right, cool, bro. Recently, in the past, I would say 2 or 3 weeks, a documentary came out called Age of Disclosure. And within the documentary, it talks about how 34 high-ranking US officials who all have the same story are like, yeah, so aliens are real, we recovered their technology, and we're trying to reverse engineer their technology so we can use it. And getting into the final topic of like alien news that is covered almost daily is the comet that entered our solar system not too long ago, 3I Atlas. And ever since it has entered our solar system, you've had people saying it's not behaving like a comet, it doesn't even look like a comet, the composition of it doesn't resemble a comet, it's slowed up, it's slowed down, it's sped up, it's changed direction. And NASA has uploaded pictures of the comet, but they're always like super blurry, and amateur astronomers with telescopes in their backyard are able to take better photos of the comet. So it doesn't even seem like we can trust these organizations. We're supposed to be getting this. We're supposed to trust. We're supposed to be getting reliable information from, because these photos are like blurry, where like you can't tell it. You can't even like make out if that was a comet or not. And I think that's kind of the point. And this is all to say that, again, like past couple years, aliens have been, at least like yearly, have been in the news for some reason or another. And I think that's and this is just my 2 cents, but I think there's a reason behind that. And I think the reasoning is that they kind of want to pave a way for, if aliens did show up, it would be socially acceptable. But if aliens were to show up, I'll say this, if it is on the front page of news and you like, or you turn on your TV and all these major news stations are talking about it, it is because they're okay with you knowing about it, or they want you to know about it. And so, again, like I don't go a day without hearing something about 3I Atlas and how it's like, oh, it's an alien ship, it's foreign, and all this fun stuff. If aliens were to come into the limelight, come out in the public, we wouldn't know about it. We would only hear about it after the fact. It wouldn't be on the front page of news like some like New Year's countdown where it's like, oh, 3 weeks from now we're gonna finally see some aliens. Because all the major stuff is done in secret. And like I've said, if it's on the news or the front page of news, it's because they're okay with you knowing it, or they want you to know it as a sort of distraction. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the topic of today's video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.